Hello, and welcome to this Getting Started guide for ApertureDB. Today we're going to be doing three things. We're going to create an account on cloud.aperturedata.io, and after creating that account, we're going to create an instance of ApertureDB. And finally, we're going to be doing an insertion and retrieval of an image from this ApertureDB instance that we have just created. So let's get started and go to step one, which is just create an account on cloud.aperturedata.io. How to do that? We just go to aperturedata.io, we click on login, and it's going to take us to the cloud sign up page. So we're going to create a new account. For this case, I'm going to use Luis Hack at aperturedata.io, name, company, and we're going to be setting up a password for my account. So this is a private password that you have to set and confirm. And you can also do it with your Google account, but in this case, I'm just going to use an email address. All right, and there is a onboarding process where I'm just going to say that we're going to be working with images in this case, and we're going to be creating a new ApertureDB instance. We're going to call this ApertureDB instance hackathon, and we're going to be using some different password for setting up the admin password for my ApertureDB instance. We're going to select US Quest in Google Cloud, and we're going to go with a free option for now. All right, our ApertureDB instance is being created, so it will take a few minutes to get there. And after the ApertureDB instance is up and running, we can just go and start running queries against this instance. So for now, we're just going to wait for 5 minutes, and we're going to be back once that ApertureDB instance is up and running. All right, we're going to come back and see where we are. All right, so we have our ApertureDB instance up and running, and now we need to connect to that instance. So we have a link to the web UI right here. Actually, this is going to be logged out, and we're going to use our admin and the password that we just created for the ApertureDB instance here. And what we're going to see is that the database is empty. So the first step is going to be to just add that new data into ApertureDB. So now that everything's ready and we're done with step one and step two, we're just going to go into step three, which is insert and retrieve an image into the ApertureDB instance. So for that, we're going to be using Python. So I have a VS Code project here. I'm just going to be adding a new file, which is going to be add image.py. We're going to get there. First of all, we're going to get an image from the internet to insert. So we're going to take this image from Cleopatra. I'm just going to take this. And even before we get started, we're going to download this image so that we have it. We have it here. We're just going to rename it. And the other thing, we're going to make sure that it's completed is install ApertureDB. So everything's ready. ApertureDB installation is complete. So we're ready to start. I'm just going to be copying pasting some code that I have prepared for you here. And I'm going to walk you through what is the different steps. But basically what we have to do is use the ApertureDB Python package and use the connector to connect to the database. So first of all, we're going to be creating a client object using the connector. For that, we need the host, the user, and the password. This is the password that we just created, and the user is going to be admin. Where we get the host from, we're going to get that host from cloud. So we're going to go here, and we're just going to copy this address, and we're going to paste it here. And we're going to be running our first query, which is add image, and we're going to be setting up certain properties. So the name for that image and the source, which is the Wikipedia. And because we have that image and we need to send that image into ApertureDB, we're going to read it from the file as a read binary, and we're going to read the binary data into this image variable, and then we're just going to use the DB to run a query into ApertureDB, and finally we're just going to print the response. So let's do Python 3, add image, we run that, and the response that we're going to be getting is add image status 0, meaning that everything went well. So the next thing we should be able to see is on the web UI of ApertureDB, we now see that we have one image that we have just inserted. So we're going to use the image search to just verify that everything's looking fine. We're going to run that, and we get our image of Cleopatra, and the source is Wikipedia. So this is a rectangular image. It has a different width and height. And one thing we can do with ApertureDB is perform operations on that image on the fly. So we're gonna just retrieve that image, and let's say that we want to run that image through a neural net. Usually those neural nets have an input layer of 224 by 224 in size for the image. So we're gonna fetch that image from ApertureDB and resize on the fly. So let's do that. We're going to do a find image, and we're going to apply some constraints. In this case, we want the name to be equals to Cleopatra, and we want to apply some operations. And one of the operations that we're going to apply is of type resize, and we're going to specify a width of 224 and a height of 224. So we're going to turn that rectangular image into a square image. So let's run this query. Oops, I forgot to specify that I want the binary image as a result. So we just run that, and we get our 224 by 224 square image that was modified on the fly using ApertureDB query language.